My name is Paul, I'm also called Knack. I'm the brains behind Knack's Daily Teaser, and if you want to know what that is, click on this little button up here in the corner, you'll find out more. And I'm also someone who watches movies occasionally. It's been a while since I've seen one, so I really should sit down with another. But I also watch TV shows, and I'll quite happily talk about them. Right at the moment, and just over the past few weeks, I've been watching Series 2 of Apple TV Plus's For All Mankind. Last night, I managed to see episode 8, and here's to you. And I've got to admit, I think it's rather good. Let me just try and summarise the episodes quickly. Episode 8, and here's to you, opens with Ellen, Jodie Balfour, in a formal meeting with President Reagan himself. The President is impressed enough with her work to promote her permanently to the post of NASA Administrator, complete with a pay rise, an office, and a seat on the presidential cabinet itself. The scene shifts to Ed, Joel Kinnaman, meeting Gordo, Michael Dorman, as the latter prepares for the most terrifying job he's faced in a decade, returning to the moon. The opening credits roll and the scene shifts again. Once Ellen has left the meeting, Margot and General Bradford, Brent Smith and John Marshall Jones, discuss both Ellen's promotion, a little bit of jealousy not creeping in there, and they also discuss the fact, or at least the General tells Margot, that the Russian Space Agency has cancelled the Buran missile, its space shuttle missile, due to a faulty O-ring, with the General very unaware that Margot had warned the Russian delegation of exactly that in last week's episode. We see Ellen later that night telling her partner Pam, Megan Leathers, about the promotion, and confessing to Pam that Pam is more important to her than the job. She'd happily lose one to keep the other. Kelly, meanwhile, Karen and Ed's adopted daughter, visits a local Vietnamese restaurant where her birth father and her sister are working. She gets to meet her sister, in fact. It's her sister that acts as a waitress, without actually revealing who she is. I get the feeling that's going to possibly develop in the next couple of episodes. Gordo, once he's got to the moon, meets his ex-wife Tracy and tells her exactly what happened when he, Danielle and Ed were there 10 years previously. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Molly is at an eye doctor, where she's diagnosed with a version of glaucoma, something that could see her permanently grounded and going blind in one eye. Aleida Morales manages to embarrass her boss, Bill, and has to apologise, sharing some of her rather sad personal interest in the sharing some of her rather sad personal history in the process. Unbeknownst to anybody else, and certainly unknown to Ed while he's training up for the Pathfinder mission, Karen, his wife, and Danny, his best mate son, decide to do the dirty in the bar. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. The real tension, though, comes right at the end of And Here's to You, with armed confrontation between a group of US Space Marines and a group of Russian cosmonauts. Things look serious. Now, what did I think of this episode? Did I see a good episode last night? Yes, I bloody well did, actually. First things first, the title, And Here's to You. It's obviously a nod to The Graduate, the old Anne Bancroft film, and what's his face? I forget his name, it will hit me in a minute, but the guy that plays Ben, gets seduced by an older woman, and of course, in this one, it's slightly similar, except it's the younger guy seducing the older woman. So there's tension there. There's something that's going to explode, I think, over the next couple of episodes. There is also generally the overall arc of this episode. There's nothing leaping out at me specifically, although it's a good little Cold War thriller. For All Mankind is a bit, as an alternative history, is very reminiscent for me of The Man in the High Castle, the TV version. And I've reviewed that before now as well. That is another great little history, but they're both Cold War alternative histories. They're Cold Wars. They're just not our Cold Wars. And For All Mankind is a Cold War that sees the West, in the shape of the USA, facing off against Russia, in the shape of the USSR, the Soviet Union. And of course, that comes to the big climax. I'll try not to say much, except that it's a big armed confrontation between Russia and America, and it does not go too well for Russia. Frankly, it's a little bit of a shocker. It's really a tense ending to a generally quite tense episode. Frankly, I am going to be watching next Tuesday, which should be the 1st of June if I've got my dates right. Yes, 1st of June I'll be watching episode 9, and I'll be reviewing it on the 2nd of June. You are, of course, as ever, welcome to join me. You are, of course, welcome to leave hate comments for me making a spoiler of an episode. But please, either way, be polite. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Leave me a comment about the review as well. I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care now.